Welcome back to the Polaris 250 Grandma's four-wheeler series, and today we're going to be reassembling the engine. So this is the cylinder kit that I got off Amazon. This is the niche brand, and I've seen a couple of videos. They say it's pretty good. This is the gasket kit for it. It came with the NGK spark plug, which I thought might be phony, but I did try it on the tester and it seems just as good as one I've gotten from a shop, so it seems good. I'll try it. Here's the piston box. There are rings in here. That's a pin. There's the bearing. And then the clips for the piston actually have the little piece right there, so it's actually easier to install, which is nice. Here's the cylinder. And I'll show you what surprised me most when I opened it. It has all the studs pre-installed. So here are the exhaust studs, all of the head studs, and of course that one doesn't use them. But yeah, this one looks really good comparing it to the old one. Obviously they look like the same part, and I think it'll work. Okay guys, we're going to start with putting the clips in and the piston rings on. So it has the tab that you can put the pliers on, so it's nice and easy to like install. Yep, it's in the groove on all sides. So now when we put it on the bike, this clip's already in, so you can sit in there, put the pin in, and then the clip will clip it down instead of working with two at the same time. Okay, we're going to put the rings on. And these are keystone rings. So that one is on top. And then two is on the bottom. They're a little oily. I like to get it in the first groove and then go down to the second, so it's not this big spread that the ring has to do. Alright, it's in the groove, and the pin will line up as it's in the cylinder. Same on ring number 1, but this one's easier because it's right on top. Alright, we have one side clip and both piston rings on. Okay guys, it's time to put the piston onto that connecting rod. So since I already have one clip in, this will be really easy. First, gonna put the bearing in. This is just some Lucas 2-cycle oil in this syringe. So I got some 2-cycle in there. Alright. Let's spread around pretty good. Alright, there's actually a lot of oil on that. So we're going to put that inside. And while my hand's still oily, we'll lube up this pin. Alright, that's just lubed up for later. Okay, let's get this piston in. The pins for the rings go towards the intake side. Alright. Then the pin goes through. Now you can do that same thing with the clip, just on the bike. Alright, I like to click down all the sides of that, and it's all within the groove. So this piston's on the rod. Okay guys, we have the piston all ready to go to put the cylinder on top. Now we have the base gasket to put on. Okay. Now we'll lube up the piston just a little bit. And then make sure the pins are lined up to give us a good start. Right now, I'm just putting a little bit in the cylinder. Okay, let's get this cylinder on. Put this top ring clockwise. The top. From like the top of the piston clock. Yeah. Yep. The head is on now. And now I'm just screwing the nuts down. And then we'll torque it. Alright, we're going to torque these head nuts on. I'm starting with 10. Crisscross as usual. Now I'm going to set this to 22. Alright, this is 22 foot-pounds, which is the final torque. Alright, the head's torqued. Right now you'd be thinking I'm putting the spark plug in. I'm going to put the compression tester in to see what it is now. That was at about 105. We were just curious what it would be before break-in, but we'll check it after that. This is the cylinder, and you can see there's 2 threaded holes. That's for this engine mount. So I'm going to put that there. And put in the 2 half-inch bolts. So there's 2 nuts on each side of the rubber mount that you tighten down. And they are at 9/16. The oil line, if you remember, was really crusty, so I cut it off. So I got some new Tygon, really flexible, good stuff. And the line, all it does is go right here from the pump, right to the cylinder. So it's nice and simple. Alright, clamp. Yeah, that's got the perfect amount of tension. Okay, got the bottom clamp on. And I left this long so I knew where to cut it. I don't want this to be too long. Alright, right there. So now it's right here all close. Yep, that'll be good. So let's put the clamp on this side. Alright, clamped on front and back, and we'll just run it with some premix when it starts, and that will fill up really quick because it's so short. I got a brand new carburetor boot, nice and soft, like the other one was pretty hard. These are 2 6mm Allens. Okay, we're gonna put this freshly cleaned carb back on. And this choke cable is on the side. And that's a 12 millimeter. So I'm going to swing it around these hoses because it goes on this side, and then put it inside the boot. So I have the air box completely installed. We had to do a little bit of a modification because the air box was like broken. So a little metal tab was bolted on, works great. And of course, a new air filter to go with it. $9 for that air filter. That's all. Okay, this is the backer to the clutches. And before there was this seal that was missing. So this is the seal. As you can see, it opens up right here, and that would go in the edge right here. And then this lip goes right here. So you put it inside this hole first, making sure the open lip is toward the back. So now that's installed completely around, and the back side is what has the open lip. I'm going to get these bolts started. There are two long, one short. The short's the bottom left. Okay, I had a hard time lining them up. I got it. Okay, the bolts are in. Now you can kind of just wiggle the seal into place. Yeah. So now would be the drive clutch. The big long bolt with the spacer. I'm actually using the 1/4" subcompact from Milwaukee. So it's seated, and it's just a press-on fit. Just give a little. Okay. So the audio seemed to cut out a little bit right here. All I'm doing is putting on that little washer. Then here is the driven clutch, which has a spline that splines onto that shaft. This bolt has a weird looking washer that actually locates it into the clutch. And again, just using my impact to zip it on. So to put on the belt, I'm weaving it through the drive clutch, then putting it on top of the driven clutch. Then I'm just going to spin the driven clutch like that, like putting a bike chain on. And it worked good. With the belt and clutches on, I'm going to put the cover on. And that's not actually dirt, that's heat that ruined the plastic. A fresh coat of paint on the exhaust, and now we slide it into this carriage bolt. And then just tighten that nut up. I have this spring on. We've got the ones from the engine to this U. Now to get the springs from the U to the main exhaust pipe. Then from this hole to this bracket. springs are on, exhaust is painted. Now we're gonna continue putting this heat to protect from burning legs. This wrap looks great. This is the extra that I had from another project, so it went to there, but that's the only spot where it actually matters, because the guard does cover, and when you're riding two up, the person in front, their leg can get burned. Because here, back here, it's no big deal, it's fine. Especially here because the shield. But right there is where you get burned. So, got that all wrapped up. Then we just spray some silicone spray. And it will keep those fibers in. So I want to do the battery stuff. This little red wire goes on the bottom. And then the main power positive goes on top of it. At the 7/16. Okay. Then this goes to the battery. Then the one with the red goes on top. Same split lock washer and nut. Alright. Now I'll put this battery in. Hey guys, this is the first start of Grandma's four-wheeler after the partial rebuild. It's not done yet because all the fenders and stuff aren't on. Just wanted to make sure it started before I put it completely all back together. I have the IV bottle with a little bit of premix inside. And let's see. I have a petcock on this thing on, so the bowl is full. That's the choke. Key. And the tail light works. That hasn't worked in 15-20 years. Kill switch is on. Choke's on. This used to take forever to start. I'll show you what it is like now. This is a very cold start after I started it before. Alright guys, we got a lot done in this episode of the Grandma's Four-Wheeler series. Got the whole engine put back together with that niche cylinder and piston kit. Seems so good so far. Got all the clutch stuff buttoned up with the cover on it. And that new gasket that wasn't there previously. Got the airbox on. And we have the freshly painted exhaust pipe with the wrap so people don't get burned. And we started it in this episode and it ran great. In the next episode, we're going to put the gas tank on with a brand new petcock, plastics, fenders, and the seat will get a brand new seat cover. So till then, I'll see you guys next time.